What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne Yang with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The cabinet is eyeing its biggest annual budget ever, sharing a proposal for $111 billion in spending for next year. Premier Zhuo Rongtai presented the budget to President Lai Ching-te on Tuesday. The president noted that the budget has 10 important considerations, including zero debt, expanding tech investment, supporting small and medium-sized enterprises, boosting national defense, and raising wage levels. He noted that Taiwan's economic growth rate in 2025 was 8.76% and said this needs to be reflected in government spending. The cabinet is expected to submit the proposal to the legislature in August. The legislature is still debating the budget for this current year. In a new defense white paper, Japan describes China as its greatest strategic challenge ever. The white paper says China and Russia have deepened military cooperation, and through joint bomber patrols, naval operations, and exercises, the two pose a threat to Japan's security. The report also highlights Taiwan, saying China has repeatedly conducted drills around the country in recent years. It says Beijing is turning these activities into a new normal as it improves its combat capabilities. For more on the Japan Defense White Paper, Reese Ayers spoke to Wang Hongren, Executive Director of the Institute for National Policy Research.
What are the key takeaways from Japan's 2026 Defense White Paper, and how does it signal a shift in Tokyo's strategic posture?
This 2026 Defense White Paper actually tried to show the international society that Japan is moving beyond simply strengthening its self-defense forces toward becoming a much more proactive security role in the Indo-Pacific regions. I think the White Paper tried to demonstrate that China is now clearly already identified as Japan's most significant long-term strategic challenges in the regime. And the second point you can read from the White Paper that Japan is accelerating its transition toward more modern technological driven warfare. Right now, Japan is strengthening its long-range strike capabilities, intelligence sharing, missile defense. Finally, I think the White Paper tried to reframe defense as a part of national resilience and economic security.
How is Japan planning to deepen security cooperation with key regional partners like the US, the Philippines, and Australia moving forward?
I think the whole idea is to try to build up a so-called multi-layered network of allies in the region. So, of course, for the United States, Japan is trying to integrate alliance command structures and have more intelligence sharing and joint operation planning with the United States. But with Australia, I think right now the cooperation is moving beyond political coordinations toward more operational integrations oriented framework. So this will include more joint exercise. For example, Japan also has this reciprocal access agreement with the Philippines. And they also have this acquisition and cross-service agreement between the two countries.
And so what specific measures is Japan taking to bolster deterrence against China in the Taiwan Strait?
Japan still remains very careful not to frame its policy as directly defending Taiwan. Japan tries to focus more on strengthening deterrence by making any potential use of force significantly more costly and difficult. Japan is strengthening the defense of its southwestern island chains, including the Ryukyu Island, which is very close to Taiwan. So I think that's quite important, even if not clearly to say that it will defend for Taiwan Strait or for Taiwan, but it's already built up those preparedness for the future Taiwan contingencies.
That was Wang Hongren from the Institute for National Policy Research. Taiwan has suspended pork shipments from the outlying island of Kinmen to prevent the spread of African swine fever. This comes after a second pig carcass infected with a highly contagious disease was found on Kinmen's shore. The first infected carcass was found near the island in July. Officials say the pork ban will be in place for at least a week and that nearby pig farms tested negative for the contagion. Authorities warn more carcasses could be drifting in from elsewhere, raising the risk of contamination. South Korea is experiencing record-breaking heat. At least 16 people have died because of the high temperatures, prompting the president to urge authorities to step up support for those affected. And some Koreans think intense heat like this could be the way of the future. John Van Trieste reports.
The signs warn deep water, no swimming. But here at the Baegan Reservoir in South Korea, there's almost no water left to speak of. Over an extremely hot summer, this reservoir has turned into a field of cracked, parched dirt. Depth markers stick out from the baked earth with nothing left to measure. And from above, the sun brings another day of unbearable heat. South Korea broke 3 heat records in the course of 3 days, from Friday to Sunday, each hotter than the last. Peak temperatures nearing 43 degrees sent around 300 people to the hospital. By Monday, officials issued the country's first ever severe heat wave warning for the capital, Seoul. In the city of Myeryang, about 50 kilometers from Busan, longtime residents say this summer's heat is unusual.
I am 61 years old, and this is the hottest I have experienced in 50 years.
Younger residents, too, say this heat has gotten to be too much.
Judging by the exact temperature figures, I can see that global warming is getting worse. I can't imagine living without air conditioning anymore.
South Korea joins places from neighboring Japan all the way over to wildfire-hit Europe, struggling with new extremes of heat. And here, as elsewhere, there's a growing sense of a new, dangerous normal. Andy Xue and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A group of local scientists has discovered that giving probiotics corals can slow down coral bleaching. Irene Ling has more.
Under Taiwan's southern sea, vibrant coral reefs stretch across the ocean floor. But with global warming causing water temperatures to rise, coral bleaching has become a crisis that many marine biologists are working hard to solve. And now, one team from Taiwan's top research institute has found a unique treatment, probiotics.
添加进去呢，在珊瑚里面就会让它这个珊瑚的对这个环境的压力可以做比较有效的适应。如果提升了高温的话，它也比较不容易白化。
The team added various types of probiotics to coral cell samples and found some that not only improve the coral's health, but also build up their defenses for hotter habitats. Although this technique is still in early trials, the team says it could be a big leap forward for coral reef restoration. Taiwan's Ocean Conservation Administration has been growing coral for years and says it will continue to monitor areas of bleaching.
各学术单位然后政府机关合作然后我们有一些在地守护的团体他如果进到海里，有时候如果看到珊瑚白化的部分，就跟我们讲，让我们来做一个更精确的白化的预警跟调查。
Marine biologists say coral reefs are crucial habitats for thousands of species, bringing together plenty of fishery resources and minerals. While parts of society try to combat global warming on land, these scientists are working to help marine ecosystems weather the changing environment. Fu Huahong and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Deep in the mountains of Yilan, scientists have launched a groundbreaking project to save a local endemic plant. The mission is to restore the Taiwan peony, an orchid whose survival is key to a healthier ecosystem. A team from TaiwanPlus visited the forest to learn more.
Here in Chilan Nature Reserve, one of Taiwan's most vital ecological sites, researchers are returning lab-grown seedlings to their natural forest habitat, securing them in cultivation containers.
祝你们健康长大。我下次来的时候要看他们有没有开花，争气一点。
From the forest floor to the canopy high above, the team is conducting a first-of-its-kind experiment. They're working to reintroduce the Taiwan peony, an endemic species of orchid, back into the wild. Growing in clusters, each Taiwan peony produces only a single leaf. These orchids thrive in the cool, misty forests of the high mountains all over Taiwan, but they are at risk. Now listed as a near-threatened species, their numbers are shrinking due to climate change and habitat loss. In the Chilan area alone, it's estimated that a quarter of the population has disappeared.
我第一次来这边将近是20年前，然后那时候就是看到哇，树上怎么满满都是野兰，来这边就发现，原来它是正港的附生株，可以长到20-30公尺高。然后但是近4-5年，我就发现，我原本在地上看到那些野兰就都不见了。我的有一棵杨树上面有一大群白色的野兰，去年就没看到，就那一群就不见了。
The popularity of these flowers has also contributed to their decline. A mountain photographer remembers poaching he saw in the wild about 15 years ago.
看这个犯罪现场它是整个腐殖土把它捡走它那个因为野兰是长在腐殖土上面的，没有这一层腐殖土它不可能长得出来，而且要形成这一片腐殖土的话一定是千年万年的才有可能，而且要很好的基因才能形成这么一大片，整片捡走呢，我够可恶呢，非常伤心呢，哭了好久哎。
To save these orchids and better understand how they are affected by climate change, experts are growing wild seeds in labs before moving them to Alishan in central Taiwan to get used to the new environment. Located in the same misty forest zone, Alishan was once a natural home for the species.
所以今年还要再驯化一批。
这个实验搞不好还要做个7-8年吧。每一个新的实验都要做很久啦，你以为科学家那么好当哦？
野兰我觉得它就是娇贵嘛，千金大小姐啊，很难养，真的很难养我这一次驯化它，就是遇到夏天很热，然后虫也多，那个无壳瓜牛就吃得很开心嘛，然后所剩无几就这些。
The remaining seedlings were planted in both the canopy and on the forest floor. The team is now monitoring how different temperatures and humidity levels affect their survival.
我们现在林业实验所就是我的同事，他们在无菌播种成功率已经非常高了。然后一个国家里面有千千万颗种子嘛，就可以长出千千万颗小苗。所以其实对它的生态富裕才是，或者是未来我们想要从事商业的这个栽培，它是比较有效率的。但是现在我们要突破点是说，你在就是无菌播种的温室里面长出的这些小苗，要如何富裕到野外，这是一个很大的瓶颈。
Why put so much effort into a single orchid? Because in the eyes of science, no species is too small to save.
因为野兰它是一个在森林里面很显著的目标嘛，对，然后野兰它都变少了，然后这是因为我们很容易观察到嘛，那其他比较不容易观察到的生物，你根本就不知道它少了多少啊。对生态学家来讲，每一种生物都是一样重要，因为每种生物它在生态系里面都有它的功能，就是它不能取代的功能。
The team will be closely watching to see if these orchids can truly thrive in the wild once again. Saving one species could be the start of saving more and restoring a more resilient ecosystem. Peachy Zhuang and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images of swimmers training in the sand ahead of the European Championships in Paris. I'm Yvonne. Take care, and I'll see you next time.